I am so beyond thrilled to finally do an Ariel makeup tutorial for you guys. As you all know, Ariel is one of my favorite characters. Also, fair to mention that this is my interpretation of what I feel like Ariel looks like in the movies. This is not how you would necessarily see Ariel looking like if you were to go visit her at Walt Disney World or Disneyland. So this is my interpretation of her makeup from the movies. That being said, basically what we're focusing on today is her eyebrows, how to make them really red, how to do your eyes to make them look big and cartoon-like. Also show you guys the cheeks and the lipstick as well. So those are the main features we are focusing on today. Oh, and before I forget, I wanted to let you guys know I'm also doing a giveaway in honor of today being the 30th anniversary of when the movie was released. So you have the chance to win a pair of Ariel ears. These are the ones they created specifically for the 30th anniversary. You can only get them at the parks. So I'm not just giving away one pair, I'm also giving away another pair as well. So if you're interested in entering the giveaway to get a pair of these ears, just watch to the end of the video. All right, I think that's pretty much everything. So without further ado, let's get started. So I already have my base down, meaning that I have my foundation on and a little bit of bronzer as well, but I have set my face with powder. Before we get started, I did want to show you guys how to put on a wig cap just because it was something that I had no idea how to do until I worked for Disney and I had to learn. So I thought this would be nice for you guys in case you are interested in putting on a red wig to wear this makeup as well. So starting off, usually what I do is I cut a hole in the top so there's two ends like that. And I will put the end that has the most elastic towards the bottom. So you can kind of see this nice kind of almost like a seam is at the bottom, and then the open end where I cut is at the top. What I will do is I will place this right over my head, and my hair is in a low, gross, low ponytail. So putting it on like that where the nice side is at the bottom, I'm just placing that right over my head like that. Then from there, I'm going to try my best not to get makeup on this, but I'm going to kind of use my fingers, my middle finger, just to kind of create some elasticity there and create some tension. I'm going to pull that right over my head like that. And then this part I'm going to pull right over my ears. So you shouldn't see your ears. From there, I will slightly adjust it so you can see where my hairline is, and I will pull up a little bit. And I'll also pop my ears out. So I don't want to pull it up over my ears. So what I will do is kind of pull my ears out so that it stays really nice and tucked close to where my hairline is, and the same on the other side as well. Then it looks kind of weird back here, so I'm going to pull my hair through. I'm not going to watch, so hopefully this works. And then what I'm going to do is just stick it in and then use that to kind of fill out the bottom part. So you want your hair to be at the bottom rather than at the top. And then just kind of pull this all up like that. So your majority of your hair should be at the bottom here. And it's okay if there's a little bit of hair showing at the bottom, like out through here, but basically you want that to be all tucked in there. And then what you could do too is you can just kind of, if you wanted to, just for extra support, you could like twist that or clip it or use like a bobby pin to put it together at the top like that. But I'm not going to just for today's video. Once it's in there, it's in there. It's not going anywhere. Hopefully that helps. It's not something I do very often. I used to do it all the time for my job, but I haven't done it in a while. That's how I use wig caps. And then from the rest of this tutorial, I'm going to have this on until the end. It's going to look a little weird at times, so bear with me, but I promise you at the end we will look a lot more like Ariel. We are going to start off with something easy and then build up to the eyebrows. So what we're doing first is I'm taking this NYX blush. It's in the shade Amber, but it's a beautiful kind of like rosy tone blush. I also use the same blush for my Belle makeup tutorial as well. Basically what I'm going to do is taking this blush brush, this is the Morphe E4, it's kind of at a nice angle like that. I'm going to just tap into there. And I'm going to focus on concentrating this on the middle of my cheeks. I feel like Ariel has very expressive features, and she has kind of more of like a, I want to say round face. Belle's features I feel like are more angled and narrow, but Ariel just seems to have a lot more like joyful cheeks. Not as crazy as like Snow White, but we're going to kind of concentrate the majority of this product right on the apples of the cheeks. And to get more pigment, what I will do is kind of pat that on my cheeks and then brush it backwards. And since my wig is pretty red, it's going to be okay for me to go in with a lot more blush. I feel like that color will help balance out my face, especially since I'm going to have red eyebrows. Another thing too, you can always add more blush afterwards if you want to play it more conservative in the beginning. Once you have your red wig on, you might realize like, oh, I definitely need something more on my face to kind of bring that color back. I totally feel like Ariel looks pretty glowy, especially since she lives most of the time in the ocean. So I am going to do some highlighting on my face. I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent loose setting powder glow. Taking that also on a Laura Mercier brush. It's actually the brush that they launched when they launched this product. I'm taking it right on the tip there, and then I'm going to just lightly dust that onto my cheeks. As you can see, a little bit goes a long way, so I'm going to blend this out just to create an all over glow. And I'll put a little bit on my nose as well, just to add some dimension. Typically when I highlight, I like to highlight my whole face, not just one section, because I feel like it looks weird if I just do my cheeks. So I'll usually take that product and go a little bit all over. I still don't want to scare you guys away just yet, so we're doing the eyeshadow before the brows. And for the eyeshadow today, I'm using the Disney Designer Collection in collaboration with Colourpop. I thought this would be the perfect collection to use for the eyes today. And we're going to focus mainly on using this top row here with some of these more neutral shades. Because Ariel is definitely not wearing any makeup or any eyeshadow under the sea, what we're going to do today is figure out how to make our eyes appear a little bit bigger. So that's why we're focusing on using more of these neutral shades. I will also pop on later a little bit of ray or thingamabob just on the eyelid itself, because I do want to incorporate some more glow, because I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I go to the ocean and if I have a wave splashing on my face, I'm going to glisten a little bit. So that's going to be our glisten for this eyeshadow look. We're using the shade Grumpy to start off, and we're placing that right above our eye. So basically, if you were to touch your eyeball and feel where your eyeball is, right at the very top right here, right underneath that brow bone, that's where we're going to concentrate that pigment. I'm taking... Whoa. And for my brush, I'm using the Sephora Pro Blending. This is the number 27 brush, but honestly, any blending brush will do. Just make sure it's nice and fluffy and not super structured. So what I'm going to do is just kind of start in the middle of my eye here and just start lightly running that back and forth. Just like that. I'm looking down in a mirror too to kind of expand my eyelid. Once that color is down, I will start to blend it upwards a little bit. But I'm really trying to work out that shape. After that, we're picking up the shade Triton. It's just right next to Grumpy here, and it's a little bit darker and also a warmer brown color. I'm picking that shade up on a Morphe M506 brush. It looks a lot similar to the last brush we used, but it's a little bit smaller, so it's going to help us create even more depth. So I'm going to put that right where I put the first one, but I'm not going to blend it out as far. So just starting right here in the middle, going side to side, but really keeping that small. I'm not going to go all over the lid because I do want to create more of a nice fade. So the other colors will go out a little bit farther, and it's going to kind of, again, build some depth into our eyes and make it look like this part of our eye is receded, even though it's not. So what we're doing here is we're adding some shadows to kind of add more depth to our eyes. And you can already see in comparison to the other eye, it definitely looks a lot bigger, has a lot more going on than it did before. All right, it's looking a little crazy. So what I'm going to do is take our first brush and just kind of blend that out a little bit. I am going to actually take a little bit of that same Triton shade and just use that, run that right along the outer part of my eye. So just taking the smallest amount just to add some cohesion. After that, I'm taking the shade Chip. It's the lightest color in the palette, not being a shimmer, the lightest matte shade in the palette. And I'm going to use that to kind of cut my crease. So I'm not using any sort of concealer or eyeshadow primer. I'm just basically putting that color, and I'm going to really pack it on to help carve out my eye and really overemphasize my lid space. I'm really packing that on to the Sephora 15 small shadow brush. It's very flat and very dense compared to the other brushes we've been using. Then what I'm doing is just going to start placing that right onto my lid. And I'm basically going to fill in any space that we haven't put down eyeshadow yet. To really pack on the color, what I'm doing is I'm kind of pressing it in and maybe barely moving it. I'm really not sweeping it side to side. I will also kind of shimmy it too, back and forth, to kind of cut out that shape. But this is really cool because you can actually create a really soft cut crease without actually having to like use concealer or other like liquid products. So I want to show you guys up close what this looks like in comparison to the other eye. It is the smallest step, but as you can see, it really cleans it up. It makes it look really, really nice. I really want these shimmer shadows to pop, so what I'm going to do next is take my Too Faced glitter glue. I cannot say enough good things about this primer. This primer is perfect if you're using any sort of glitter or shimmer. It just works amazing. I'm taking this on the back of my hand, just like this, taking the smallest amount. And I'm going to dip that same brush, this is the Sephora 15 brush, the small shadow brush, right into that. You will have to be a little careful when doing this because it's very easy to ruin the makeup you've done so far. So I will go in small steps to show you guys how to do this properly. So what I'm doing first is just lightly dipping into that, just the smallest amount. So you can see there's a little bit on there. And then what I'm doing is starting on the inner corner. So I do want the shimmer to be kind of diffused. I want the most shimmer to be towards the inner corner and then kind of fade out. So what I'm going to do first with this primer is I'm going to kind of just lightly pack it on in the inner corner here and then start to kind of pack it outwards. This primer is very tacky, so wherever you stick it, that is where the glitter will go. So this is where I have to be really careful to make sure I stay within those lines. I'm basically only going where I put down that chip color, that really light color. While that's still semi-tacky, I am taking the shade Ray. I feel like that's gonna be the closest, even though Thingamabob is beautiful as well. I'm going to just start packing that. I'm not gonna sweep it at first. I'm just going to pack it right in the inner corner. Again, making sure that I don't go above where that first color was. And as there's less pigment on my brush, that's when I'm moving out towards the middle and outer corner of my eye. So that really helps to define our eyes and again, give that cut crease look without actually having to use a ton of concealer or eye primer products. And I'm going to pop a little bit on the inner corner as well, just to add a little bit more highlight. But as you can see, it's definitely not having the same effect because I don't have any eyeshadow primer there. I'm also using eyeliner on my eyes as well to make them have a lot more contrast to the eyeshadow, and I'm using the Thrive Cosmetics eyeliner. This is the shade Lauren, it's their black shade, and I'm going to just run this along my lash line. So I'm not going to wing that out, but what I am going to do is just kind of keep that concentrated towards the second half or outer third of my eye. And the whole purpose of this is just to kind of hide our lash line. So when we apply false lashes, it looks a lot more cohesive. So I did add some liner to my lower waterline, but I really kept it towards the outer fourth of the eye. So I didn't bring that in to the middle of my eye. I really kept that right to the outer portion of my eye. I just find for me personally, when I bring my eyeliner in all the way, it kind of closes off my eyes and makes my eyes look smaller. So I do want my eyes to be dramatic, but I also don't want them to be look too small. So I'm just kind of keeping that open so that way they have a bigger wide-eyed effect. I'm going to go ahead and apply my mascara off camera and come right back to show you how I apply the false lashes. I went ahead and did one side off camera and you can see it made a huge difference. It looks so much better on this side than it does on this side. So let's go ahead and correct that. I am taking my favorite lashes of all time. These are the House of Lashes Iconic Lashes. I feel like they fit my eye shape so well. And I'm taking the House of Lashes Lash Glue. This is their clear lash glue as well. What I'm going to do is just paint that right onto the band of the lash. And I'm going to wait about 30 seconds or so to kind of let that air dry. So kind of starting in the middle, I kind of figure out where I want them to go. I don't ever put the front part close to my inner eye tear duct area because I feel like it just gets really pokey. So what I'm going to do is kind of place that a little bit further back from there and just pop it on like that. So they're not on yet. I just kind of placed them down. This is where I'm going to kind of press them into my lid. And I will also pinch them together with my natural lashes. The glue is not just sticking to my lid, it's also sticking to my lashes as well. And since I don't apply mascara afterwards, this is how I really stick them together and kind of blend them together. So now you can't really tell where my lashes end and where the false ones begin. Overall, I feel like the eyeshadow part was pretty easy to attain, mainly because we're not doing any crazy blending or using crazy colors. We're just trying to make our eyes appear bigger and using shadows to kind of overemphasize the features that we already have. I'm going to go ahead and do my lips next, again saving the brows for last because they'll be crazy. You'll just have to trust me on the brows, but they're going to be crazy. I'm first lining my lips with a lip liner from Thrive. This is in the shade Ruth. It's a very nude, natural color. And then I'm taking the Colourpop lipstick in the shade Ariel. I feel like I have to use this lipstick. It's perfect. So I'm just outlining my lips first and then filling them in. And then going in with the Ariel lipstick afterwards. Wow, this lip liner and this lipstick matches perfectly. You can't even see a difference. That's crazy. They're not even the same brand. Okay, I just want to show you guys, this is the same color. This is crazy because they're not the same brand at all. Look at how well this matches the lipsticks. The lipstick's on bottom and the lipstick or the lip liner's on top. I'm really impressed right now. This is crazy. Well, that worked really well. Okay, it's now time for the brows. I have saved this just for this tutorial. This is the Benefit Precisely My Brow in the shade 2.75. This is their redhead shade, and I am so excited to finally use this. I should mention they did send this to me, so it's not like I went out and bought this just for this video, but I have been saving it just for this video. So first what I'm going to do is take the spoolie end and just brush through my brows. Now my brows do look a little wonky and out of place, kind of like Scuttle singing. But that's because I have trichotillomania, which means I have the impulse to pull out my hair, such as my eyelashes and eyebrows. And at times my brows look a little strange and uneven. So I'm going to do first is lay this down after I brush through my brows. Then I'm going to use this to kind of lightly fill in my brows. So I'm starting right at the base here. Just going right along. And then I'm going to start flicking that pencil upwards to kind of create those hair-like strokes. This is a brand new pencil too, so it's like extra sharp. You can cut a sandwich with this pencil. See what I did there? But basically what I'm doing with this is I'm just trying to follow my natural brow line. So I'm just trying to lightly fill this in, not doing anything crazy. But this definitely gave my brows a redder undertone. Okay, now for the part where you guys are just going to have to trust me. I'm taking this deep kind of reddish shade here from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. Honestly, any palette will do as long as you can find a shade that's kind of like a deeper red tone. You can even use a brighter red if you want, just based off of whatever wig you're using. Mine has more like pinky undertones. It looks more cool tone. I know Ariel has more of like an orangey red hair, so this isn't perfectly accurate, but I'm basing this off of my wig. So I'm taking this shade here and I'm going to start filling in my brows with this shade. I'm also using the Anastasia Beverly Hills 7B pencil or brush. So just gonna start working that in towards the back half of the brows. I'll take the smallest amount on that, kind of on the side of the brush, just to kind of brush up through the hairs to make them look very red. So that's still not even the craziest part. Again, you're just gonna have to trust me. I'm taking the Too Faced Melted Matte Lipstick. You can use honestly any lipstick. You can use any red lipstick. It can be a cream, it can be a liquid, it can be matte, it doesn't matter. So taking this liquid lipstick and I'm just picking up a little bit on the side of my brush here. This is why this will come in handy using a really thin tipped brow brush. And I'm starting in the back half of my brow and I'm going to start like kind of painting that on like natural hair strokes, but just running that through my brows. A little bit in the front here. But using a lipstick for your brows is really what's going to make them look very red. So as you can see, just by adding on the lipstick, my brows are very red now. So you can kind of decide what works best for you. You can just keep it really natural and use kind of a red tinted or red undertoned brow pencil. You could even use a red eyeshadow, or you can go all out and use a red lipstick. This is not even like that red. It's more of like a kind of like a rusted orange type color, so it's not even like a true red, which I feel like is perfect. I don't ever really want to use a dark, deep blue undertoned red, like very red, because I feel like that looks too unnatural, so I would recommend using a shade that's not a true red because it will still look very red. Okay, so now that our red eyebrows are on and our makeup is all done, I think it's finally time to put on the wig. So I will be right back and show you guys the finished look. The fact that I was able to get this to look even remotely like Ariel's hair is pretty impressive. This wig actually came down, like split down the middle. I know nothing about wigs, so I spent a good like 10 minutes just trying to make this look as realistic as possible with the bow and everything. So thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. I really hope you appreciated it. It was one of my most requested looks tutorials for a very long time, and I feel like this is now the time to do it in honor of the 30th anniversary. Also, for the giveaway, I'm giving away a pair of Ariel ears to 2 different people. All you have to do to enter is comment down below what you liked about this video, what you love about Ariel or Disney or something to that extent, and also include how I can contact you, and also like, so either email, Instagram, or Twitter are the 3 different ways, and also leave your handle or your email address down below as well. I'm trying to find different opportunities to contact you guys because I feel like YouTube is not always the easiest way, so hopefully one of those ways will work. But thank you guys for watching this tutorial. I hope you loved it, and I will splash you later. Bye!